What's up, Panther fans? Tony Dunn, the professor here, picking you up with a little midweek content. I'm going to look at this Matt Rhule press conference after the Carolina Panthers are coming off a loss to the Washington football team 27-21 and are heading to Miami. They're trying to bounce back. The Carolina Panthers have fallen to 5-6 and really lost a kind of a difficult emotional loss in Cam Newton's return, spoiled by Ron Rivera. And there's been questions about how the defense played in that game, as also how they will respond going forward. Matt Rhule addressed the media today. Let's see what he had to say. Guys, in the chat room, I need you to tell me if the audio works in this stream for when I share this video. I hope it does. Let's see what we got here. All right, come on. Do not think you can.
The guys.
I think all that would probably, the coaches obviously are always doing that. I think that would probably happen in the locker room one-on-one. Thought we practiced well today. I think Cam's done a really nice job of setting the tone in terms of, hey, this is what's expected. Christian, some of those other guys, but the real test of all that is always, how long you can go with all that. So, very simply, I told a couple of those veteran guys, like I always think it's our job as coaches to show the guys how we can win, what it takes for us to win. When we've done it, we've had games like Atlanta, Arizona, New Orleans. When we haven't done it, we have games like this past Sunday. So we have to.
Leadership is going to be a big deal for this
team,
Carolina Panthers
coaches,
team
players,
at this
everybody.
point.
To do it week in and week out and do it consistently. And so that's the next step for us. We have to execute it.
You mentioned Cam and leadership. Has he come in and kind of quickly become one of the leaders of this team?
Yeah, well, he's one of the veteran players. Like I think the thing that just not disappoints me. That's the right word. I just wish everyone could see like how hard he works. Like what Cam Newton did on Sunday.
We've been trying to tell you.
Lead us to 21 points.
This is what he's always done. Grind.
With an offense he learned it within 4 days is unheard of. And but it's the amount of work he puts in, right? Like I
want to see leadership
Monday
on the defensive side of the ball. We shouldn't have to have Cam be the leader. It's great that he is a leader.
Cam Newton, and much like many of these guys, But I think one of the things that happens to younger players, whether it's in college, high school, or even when they first get to this team, is they just seen Christian be great on game day. They see Cam Newton get great on game day, and they don't see like the 5 a.m. show up. They don't see Shaq's in here lifting every Wednesday at 6:30 in the morning. Those guys put so much into it. So I think when you do those things, then you earn the right to lead. And, leading is not motivational speeches. It's, demanding that everyone put the time in. And so I think Cam's brought a lot of that quickly to us because, he wants to win. He's a veteran player now. He came in, he had the Thomas Davises, he had all those guys. Well, now he's that guy. And so,
yeah, but we need Shaq Thompson to be that guy. I think Hassan Reddick has
really, to me, that
stepped into that role.
Buying in completely.
Trying to think of who else could be assuming a leadership role on that defense.
Is he on track to that return this season?
I don't know that yet. They kind of do some periodic check-ins to see. He's definitely healing. When he'll be back, I don't know.
Stream 85 plus channels and save up to.
All right, so we got to get hit with the ad. I think here is this, guys. Is right now I want to talk about the leadership component of this. And how the Carolina Panthers are going to have to find a way to muster up and get a good second half to the season.
When you look at Miami's defense, I know their numbers maybe don't look so impressive as for the season, but the past month they've really seemed to turn things up a notch. Can you talk about how they're playing right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a credit to Coach Flores and his staff, right? They were 1-7, and they beat Houston. They overcame 5 turnovers to beat Houston. They played Baltimore on a Thursday night, one of the best teams in the National Football League, and they brought zero blitz like 31 times, and they just burned the boats and said, "Hey, we're here to win." They won, took away the football, and they followed it up last week with another win. So they're a hot team. They've won 3 in a row. they'll play man, they'll overload the box, they'll bring pressure pretty much every play. They'll overload us and bring zero pressure and try to outnumber us and hit our quarterback. On
I don't know
offense,
why my
they
video's
are
frozen up so much.
run RPO. They're like 5th in the league in completion percentage, over 20 yards. They'll throw the ball deep. Gesicki's an excellent player. They've got a lot of really good players. So they're a team that's, found themselves and is playing really good football right now. And there'll be a schematic challenge for us because they're going to be blitzing us the minute we get off the bus. Right. So it's going to be something like, here's Cam, he's in week 2. I'm expecting them to probably say, hey, how much does he know in terms of all their blitz answers and all that? Hey, let's go get after those guys. So we'll have to have a great plan and one that our guys can execute.
Matt, you guys had, Sam Darnold with the C on his chest, Matt Paradis being a captain. How have you guys adjusted off the field and in the locker room to losing leadership and captains like that?
Obviously those guys meant a lot to us, but I mean, I think, you guys have heard me say before, even the captain thing, it's an honor, right? Your teammates vote for you. But as you go through the twists and turns and trials of a season, the high moments, the low moments, real leadership emerges. True leadership is not convenient leadership. It shows up when there's adversity. There's not a lot of adversity in training camp. So, as you go through it, guys show, hey, I can lead too. So you also
Like
look
I'm
around,
pushing
you have
the
guys
limits
like
of my
Hassan Reddick.
computer, folks.
You have guys like AJ Boye. You have many more. Guys like Jermaine Carter emerge. So we don't think we have any shortage of leadership. It's just it's just trying to make it all cultural. Like I go back to the Ravens. I don't mean to talk about another team, but I'm watching them play, and they lost all those tailbacks this training camp to injuries, right? But then they still run the football at a really high level because it's cultural. This is what we do. And so, so often for us, we have a couple injuries, we have to just keep overcoming it. It has to be a culture here of execution, a standard of performance and preparation. And then we have to get to the games on Sunday and deliver. And,
all right, let's talk about that for a second as I try to get my camera. Maybe I can go to a different, let's see if this works. Ooh, there's an old school pick right here for you. See if I got something for my work where I got right now. I think I am pushing my camera to the limits of what this can handle, but hopefully, there we go. Pausing this will help for a second. So right now it looks like Matt Rhule actually I think is taking a good tone at this point because he doesn't seem as panicked as he could be. There was a desperation in his press conferences 2 weeks ago that right now I think there's a comfortableness you can see. And we talked about this last night on the C3 Panthers podcast, is how despite Carolina losing 27-21 to the Washington football team, it didn't feel as bad. And the outlook for the rest of the season did not feel as bad as it had maybe the week before or 2 weeks before in the loss. And that is because Cam Newton has injected at least a life force. He's been like a steroid shot, or a steroid shot probably is what you would say is to this Carolina Panthers offense. But last week, the defense did not get the job done, and that's why he's coming back and talking about leadership and execution. We'll need to see him, and I think he's probably displaying some pretty good leadership at this moment. You can really read it on his face and his tone. If you were starting to get to know Matt Rhule, and I think he knows that this defense can play a lot better than they did. But at some point, you got to go get those W's. You got to go execute. And while he's talking about this culture, you really got to not only build it. The only way you build a culture is by doing it and doing it. So they're going to have to perform at a higher level next week against the Miami Dolphins. Let's keep going through with what he has to say.
We have just not done that consistently. And there's not weeks where I've said boy, that's a bad week of practice. I thought last week was as good as there was. And we got to the game and it just we didn't play the way we're capable of. So I think the leadership's emerging, obviously adding guys like Cam and Amir Abdullah, they bring a presence, but I just think it's the collective, just the collective culture and mindset of everyone in the building. Like, hey, what are we going to tolerate? What are we not going to tolerate? What is expected of us? So I hate losing Matt. I hate losing Sam. But we have lots of other guys, too, that I really trust.
What's impressed you about Hassan's leadership? Him being a first-year guy here, and probably, like you said, it took some time maybe for you to see some of that.
I just think he, I think really before the Atlanta game, I think he really, it's the only time since I've been here that we've like, sometimes when you lose, guys like to, say something in the locker room, have a team meeting the next day, all that, hey, let's get this together. It was the first time we had a meeting the night before the game, where I finished my little 15-minute team meeting and Hassan's like, hey, coach, can everyone stick around? In today's culture, in today's society, like standing out and being different sometimes is hard, right? Like we're just kind of everyone's it's just easy to be liked and just kind of go along the flow and let me just handle me. And what you need is some people that realize like to be different. I mean, if you want to be different, if you want to be extraordinary, you can't do the same thing as everybody else. You've got to be willing to stand out. So guys like Hassan that are willing to like stand in the fire and stand up and say, hey, this is what I'm expecting from everybody. A lot of guys don't want to do that because what if they get beat? What if they have a bad game? If you want to lead, you have to take that daring step. And so I thought Hassan did that in that game. And many more guys have done things like that. So all
right, this is interesting because Hassan Reddick came out after the game or this week and talked about how they needed to hold each other more accountable, no more of the buddy mess. We've been wondering who he is talking about there. Is that a look at the other defensive players? I mean, and clearly I think that's where it was, but who on the defense is he really interested in talking about? And I think he's probably looking to his left or to his right, depending on what side he's standing on. And that is on those big defensive tackles to do a better job, right? To make their assignments. But you got to wonder too, is that this was a game where Jermaine Carter had, not a good game, made a lot of mistakes and kind of the mental errors, I think, and just trying to play what people have said on instinct rather than playing within the scheme. Shaq Thompson overran a player. And if anything, the one thing that stood out this week has been Shaq Thompson's saltiness, right? Is that he didn't want to, at the press conference. We'll go watch some of those player press conferences in another video. But how much is that directed at a player like Shaq Thompson, or is this Hassan Reddick and Shaq Thompson rallying the troops and Shaq Thompson being just that gritty type? Don't want to mess with him when he's mad. And when you saw him with that hoodie up, I would say you didn't want to mess with him when he's mad. Really like Hassan Reddick's leadership that he is taking on in this team and that kind of vocal leadership, but delivering on the field and really committing to the organization. And that is exciting, particularly if he's going to be a part of what we're doing going forward, which I think a lot of people are hoping he will be. All right, let's continue on with Matt Rhule's press conference.
I've been proud of a lot of those guys. And my hope, to be quite honest, is that it'll all come together at some point, right? Like all these signs of leadership, all these signs of good moments of football all comes together and it's consistent and it's something that's built to last, that lasts for years because it is the culture in the building, not one guy stepping up and doing something as an outlier.
Have you done anything this week to overemphasize stop committing penalties?
To be quite honest with you, I've kind of put it back on them, like at the end of the day,
now you always wonder, how do you stop committing penalties? I guess just
team we've had, hey, run to this sign, do this. At some point, it's got to come from within, right? And I just really think a lot of it comes down to focus. There's some that I don't care. Like, we got to tell they had a false start on Michael Jordan. It didn't move. Like I'm not going to worry about the numbers. It's the ones that are focused.
You can control. Yeah,
that bothers me. The holds on the offensive line, hitting the quarterback as he's sliding. I think one of our great battles that we're fighting right now here as a team is learning how to just focus consistently, day in and day out, week in and week out. I call that process, right? And so we get in the game and we play well, and then we do something that hurts ourselves. So just trying to turn it back on the team and just really asking players to hold themselves accountable and asking them to hold each other accountable, because if we don't beat ourselves, we'll be a much better football team. And I know that's,
I think Shaq was taking on a big leadership role, guys, in the beginning of the season.
Early in the season, we weren't a heavily penalized team, and it's just
I think he's just pissed about this performance.
We have to correct it.
Do you have an update on Cam Irving and what's left tackle look like this week?
I don't have anything on Cam. I mean, he's obviously got another week at least.
Dennis
Daly's up again. Dennis. I told Dennis, he practices all week. We need him to finish a game. I do think Brady played well in the game last week, so we'd have both those guys ready to go.
Can you give us an idea of what Thanksgiving will be like at the Rhule household? And also, are you doing anything to allow the players any
extra time.
Here's our boy Chris
Yeah,
Jenkins.
we'll start early tomorrow. Let them go around noon. Bring them in a little bit later on Friday. Expect them to, be ready to go. We'll stay here a little later tonight. At my house, we'll have, obviously our family, my mother, my father, my wife, my kids. My wife might have invited other people. I don't know. I'll show up tomorrow and see. Give thanks and hopefully spend some time together. So,
all right, hold on.
Goodbye. Random calls and offers.
All right, guys.
Hello, built-in spam blocker. Now I can't soak up the sun.
I might get better at doing this.
Hello, Google Fi.
Just getting into these reaction videos. And the Carolina Panthers trying to put more and more ads into their videos. Don't tell them we're watching it. We're watching it. All right, let's see what Matt Rhule is going to continue to say. Unmute.
Pennsylvania traditions, and then I think if we invited other people, usually everyone will kind of bring their own thing. So it'll be nice. And then the only tradition we have is, my wife buys all these pumpkins. And when we were in Waco, we had a bunch of land. We go out with the kids, and
hold on.
Thanksgiving was they smashed all the pumpkins. So we'll do that here. I have to clean it all up because we live on a city street now. So.
Kind of a deep question here, but anybody in particular in your life that you're overly grateful for?
I have found the workaround.
Where you are today?
Who are you thankful?
From a coaching perspective?
Let's see. What coach is he?
Yeah, I would start with Julie. I mean, I think, I'm certainly an imperfect human. For anyone that would be married to me for this long is really, really special. And I haven't always been the best husband. Like I've had to grow as a man along the way. But I always go back to, and Joe will appreciate this, I was coaching at the University of Buffalo, and I had a chance to, we got fired at Buffalo. I was 24 years old. I was a full-time Division I coach. I was one of the youngest Division I assistants in the country. And I got offered the job at King's College or Wilkes College. I can't remember Wilkes College, which was my wife's from Montoursville. So it's.
All right, let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. This workaround. Sorry, had to refresh my stuff. Told you I got to get a new computer, guys. All right, here we go.
An hour 15 from my wife's house. And, it was a good job, full-time job, defensive coordinator, and we were young. And I had the chance to go be a graduate assistant at UCLA. And we were going to move to Los Angeles. I think the rent was at the time, this was 2001, was $1,400. I made $780 some a month. So I made just over half of the rent. And I never forget Julie saying to me, she said, we need to go to UCLA. She's like, you want to be a Division I coach. Like we have to go do this. And so with her blessing, we went, and she worked 2 jobs, and she made a ton of money doing it. And she drove me to work every day because we didn't have a car. And I didn't have a car.
I'm still freeze.
That's where I met Phil Snow. That's where I met so many other people. So, it's been all those sacrifices along the way. I think one of the greatest gifts a man can give to his kids is their mom, right? Because that's who, especially as a coach's kid, and we're at work all the time. Like my kids are blessed to have the mom that they have. And so she does so many things. And I don't know how many NFL coaches do it, but we have every player on this team over to our house on a Thursday night in a row. We have different position dinners and guys come over to the house, and it's just she's just so willing to sacrifice those things so that
because
players,
you're making her $1 bazillion, bro.
But at least they can tolerate me a little bit more when they've been to my house and seen my kids and seen my dogs. So I would say, I wouldn't be here if it was not for Julie. I would not have been able to do the things we've done, at other places without Julie. So I'm very grateful for her. That should get me out of a lot of trouble right there. Make sure you post that.
That's Matt Rhule's press conference right there. He's got some more time. We're just freeze. Shout out to the great moms out there. I got one downstairs working on Thanksgiving already, my wife.
I want to see us have no penalties on offense and see what happens. We had no turnovers in this past game. Let's have no bad snaps.
Yes, sir.
The second, third down of the game's a bad snap, right? People said it was a trick play. No, it was just a bad snap. We're wide open for a first down, and we're going to go off, and we'll get rolling again. So I want to see us not have penalties, not have, bad catastrophic plays, and then watch how the talent takes over because DJ Moore's getting better right now. Robbie Anderson's getting better. Tommy and Ian are getting better. Christian's playing at a really high level. I want to see all that kind of come full circle and come together. We've certainly seen spurts of it, right? I think as a coach, like this is the most frustrating period. And I use frustrating in a really positive way because some people say later you were frustrated. What I mean by that is this. Like, it's one thing if you don't ever see it work, you're like, you kind of have to question, like, does this work? Well, at Arizona, I was like, man, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. At Atlanta, this is exactly what it's supposed to. First drive last week, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. The drive to answer the score in the third quarter, fourth quarter, it's exactly what it's supposed to look like. It's the consistency that we're chasing now. And that I truly believe with all my heart, that's a mindset. That's an organizational mindset. That's like when we win a game, we don't act like we just won the Super Bowl. We're supposed to win games, right? Like, we beat Arizona, we're supposed to do that. We don't start acting all crazy. Just everyone in this building, we just stay locked into the next week and what's next being our mentality. So I say all that to say, I don't want to see anything different from Cam. I just want him to keep doing his job. And his special traits will show up. I want DJ just to keep doing his job. Robbie, Christian, just keep doing the little things at a high level and watch how that
there we are.
All of a sudden it becomes an
normal.
overnight sensation. All of a sudden we have a really good offense. And that's what the defense has done.
Focus.
They got away from it this past week. We stopped doing some of the little things that have been great for us. And I hope we get back to it versus this.
Yeah, I think this is a good question, Matt. We should ask Matt Rhule.
On the defense that, as you look back on that thing, you need to fix quickly.
Yeah, we got out hit, right? Bill Walsh had a great sign, says, I will not get out hit at any time, right? Like, we got out hit, which was disappointing. And I think what happened was, sometimes, I don't want to have to be careful I say this. Sometimes you show up for a show and a game breaks out. Like, that Washington came to fight us and play us. And we got up early and everyone was having fun. And all of a sudden, a game broke out. And they were running the football. And we needed to respond. And we responded in kind of a panicky way, and everyone started trying to make a play. And so you look at the football, sometimes it's almost unrecognizable, we're supposed to double somebody and we're not doubling them. We're leaving guys hung out to dry. Everyone you talked about Dante afterwards. Dante got hung out to dry a lot in that game. Guys, he's supposed to have help and he doesn't have help.
Yeah.
So just a lot of panic, a lot of really good guys.
He did get beat.
All of a sudden,
it's just easy to dump on
him. They
him.
start trying to make plays and do things outside the defense, and the defense works. Like, we just do our jobs, and the defense works. So I only verbalize all that because I think it's such an important message for our players. I think our players know it. We just have to keep saying it. Just do our jobs and play really, really hard. And that'll be a challenge this week. Miami plays really, really hard. Coach Flores' team plays really, really hard. So if we go down there, we have to play really, really hard and match their intensity. And we don't have to do anything special to be special. That's a Cam line. We just have to go out there and do our job. So that's what I'm hoping to see.
Are you doing anything differently personnel-wise in the secondary at all?
Not really. No. No.
What about up front? Since Davion's been hurt, Daquan and Derek had to play a lot of snaps. Is there anything mix and match up there you can do to these things?
Yeah. First of all, I'll say number one, I'm not going to overreact, right, to like a bad game because when you look at it, it's all very correctable. We're still trying to bring Phil Hoskins along. I thought he had a good practice today. I can't wait to go in and watch
big
the tape.
snack,
So
right?
if we go in with, a couple more another D tackle, that might be something we do at some point. But, there's only so many guys we can have up, and we want to make sure we're having enough guys on special teams, and Etor and Morgan, continue to up their amount of reps. So I think we'll look at everything. But really, at the end of the day, last week didn't come down to any one guy, any one person. It came down to just a lot of guys trying to make a play and not doing exactly what they're trained to do.
Couple of plays too, man.
That always starts with us, falls on us as coaches. We allowed it to happen. We allowed last Sunday to happen, so we have to get it corrected this Sunday. Thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, there's Matt Rhule and his Wednesday press conference. Let's get out of here. See you later, Matt. All right. That's Matt Rhule after we're heading into the Miami game where the Panthers again are going to be trying to fight to pull to 500. The Carolina Panthers are going to have to play complimentary football. That is what we've been asking for so far in this season. And that was one of the things that Cam Newton brought to the table. So it has allowed the offense to catch up with the defense. Now we need the defense to keep up. Guys, I really appreciate you hanging out for this reaction video and your support. I'll continue to work on the tech side. I try to experiment with doing it a different way because I wanted to do it live. Also, we'll be here for the C3 Panthers post-game show on Sunday. I hope you can be a part of that. The number is 252-228-5098. Follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. and continue to sub up on YouTube. We've been growing a lot, and it's because of you guys. The excitement for the Carolina Panthers is created by us. So let's stick together and let's keep pounding. Till next time, that's it. You guys are the best.